we're going to be starting here on the side. This card number 1 is going to represent the overall energy for the reading, and then we're going to work from the left across to the right. And so it's going to be card number 1, and then card number 2 will actually be the card on top. These cards here on the top, so these 4 cards here, these cards are specific to the sign. So whichever sign I'm doing in the video, the top 4 cards, so these cards here, those are going to represent the sign itself. So these 4 here on the bottom are going to represent the other person. So for example, if you are watching your own sun, moon, Venus, or rising sign video, then these top 4 cards are going to be the cards that relate to you. The bottom 4 cards would be the card related to the other person that you're thinking about, or that you maybe are involved with, or want to be involved with, or were involved with. Hopefully that makes sense. For the cross watchers who are watching, it's going to be the same thing. These top 4 cards are going to be specific to the actual person whose sign you're watching. And the bottom 4 cards are going to be related to you. You would be the other in the situation, the cross watcher. So let me explain what these cards represent. So this row here, this is going to be the sign's current energy, the other person's current energy. This is going to be the sign's underlying issue or fear, the other person's underlying issue or fear. This is going to represent the sign's obstacle, the other person's obstacle. This is going to be the sign's desired outcome, the other's desired outcome. And this card here on the end is the advice or guidance card. So that's going to be how the spread itself works for this month. I am only doing 1 reading per sign for the entire month of June. And then during the month, I'm going to do some other readings as well, some like pick a card readings, some spreads that are specific to, should I reach out? Are they going to come back? Is this person the one? I just want to do more of those readings. So I'm just going to do 1 monthly love reading for each sign for June. And that is how that's going to work. So with that explained, now I'm going to clear these cards away. And we will actually move right into the pre-shuffle. Hey there, Aquarius. I'm going to walk you through your pre-shuffle cards that came out during the pre-shuffle meditation. The first card that came out was the Princess of Pentacles upright. I feel like you're currently in the process of working to vision and manifest a goal, which is deeply personal and might even be along the lines of like a long-term dream that you've held inside. There's a great deal of excitement around this card, and I think that you are zeroing in on all the possibilities which exist in front of you. You're definitely working to level yourself up. The next card that came out was the 5 of Cups upright. I think for this, the current focus that you have on your goals was triggered by something that happened and did not go necessarily how you had hoped or planned it would. I think that you've mostly moved on from the bulk of the disappointment around this, but I also feel that there is still something which is keeping you attached to it and preventing you from really moving forward the way that you want to. Once you're ready to truly detach and move forward, there's a great deal of opportunity awaiting you though, because the next 2 cards that came out were both the Chariot upright. So with this card coming out not only once but twice, this is a very fortunate thing for you. Again, as soon as you begin to dedicate yourself to your goals, you will be supported in a huge way. Even if you face obstacles in your path, just continue forward and you'll realize that you can overcome any challenge that you face. Whatever it is that you're hoping to accomplish, I feel certain that you will be able to achieve it. Just be yourself and let go of any fears which might be holding you back. And don't try to take the easy route on this. Put in the work which is required, and that will allow you to maximize the rewards that you get at the end. So this was really awesome for you. I think that it's going to be interesting to see how the reading goes. Hey Aquarius, welcome to your June 2019 reading. Just a little heads up here. I decided that I would just do these readings as I felt compelled to do them during the month. So you guys are coming out a little bit later in the month, but you can consider this to be a reading for the rest of this month and going into the first week of July. I think that's where the energy is existing for you guys. I did do an explanation of the spread at the very beginning of the video, just in case you skipped over that. And I also showed the pre-shuffle and the cards that came out there. The pre-shuffle was kind of interesting. I talked about that And so now we're ready just to go ahead and jump into the general reading for you guys. I'm going to go ahead and lay the cards out into the spread. I'm going to take your overall energy card straight from the bottom of the deck. Then we'll just lay out the rest of the cards here. I want to say hello and welcome back to all of the people who have watched the videos before. And if you're new and you've never watched one of my videos before, I hope you enjoy this reading. If you guys do like the reading, please take a moment just to give it a thumbs up, leave a comment, subscribe to the channel. All of those things help other people who need to hear this message actually get the video put in front of them so that they have that option. So you can help other Aquarius people. You know, you can help them out just by taking a moment to interact with the video in some way. So with that said, I'm going to go ahead and just jump right into this. I'm actually going to try to do this reading pretty quickly, just because I feel like that's sort of the energy going on. As you guys saw in the pre-shuffle, the Chariot card came out twice for you guys. And so I do feel like you are in a space right now of just really wanting to, you know, get going, action. So that's how we're going to approach this particular reading. So let's go ahead and look at the overall energy for you guys. Coming out for overall energy, we have the Knight of Cups reversed. Let's give you guys a look at that card. Okay, so it's interesting. I do feel like, you know, Aquarius, you are in a space of really wanting to have this forward movement, to have action, and to really strive to find success. And I feel like you're really leaning in on your willpower to try to make those things happen. But right now, in terms of like the overall energy going on for you guys, I do feel like it's a little bit unfocused. What I'm sensing here is that a lot of the change and action that you guys are wanting to take and trying to manifest forward, where that's really coming from, where it's stemming from the most, I think is just, I think you guys are a little bit bored and restless. It's almost like you just want to shake things up and you want to, yeah, like you want to create some change and you want to create something that's a little bit different. But I'm not really sure if you guys know exactly what that is yet. I feel like you're sort of thinking things through and you're trying to figure out what it is that you want to shift. And maybe you're trying a little bit of shifting in a lot of different areas, which is fine. I don't think that I'm someone who really personally, like, I really do enjoy change. And when life starts to feel a little bit stale and stagnant, I definitely get bored and want to shake things up and change things. So I don't feel like, however, with this, I don't think this is limited to, like, changing your hair color or painting a room or changing, something about your living environment. This does feel like it's on a much bigger scale, especially with the Chariot coming out twice. I feel like you're really wanting to shake up a lot of things. This is more of sort of like a whole life makeover. And not just in terms of like, it's all encompassing. So, you might be looking at your friend group and figuring out, like, are these really the people that I click with now? Like, have I outgrown this group, or have I, have my interests changed so much that I don't really have things in common with these people anymore? Who are the types of people that I want to be friends with? You're looking at things like your career, your job. If you're in a relationship, I think that you're sort of looking at that relationship as well. And not necessarily, I don't feel like you're trying to consider, for some of you, you might be trying to consider, like, do I want to be with this person or not? But for most of you, actually, the energy that I'm getting is that you're looking at this relationship and you're just thinking, like, okay, what's the next step here? Like, if you've just sort of been hanging out with someone, I feel like you're thinking, do I want to try to, move this into something where we're a little bit more exclusive? If you've been dating for a while, some of you might be, pondering that thought. Now, I don't necessarily want to say you're considering it actively, but I think for some of you, you are sort of pondering, if you've been dating someone for a while, is this the person that I want to continue with for something that's a little bit more committed and long term? So it's really just this energy overall of just really sort of being just tired of the way things have been and wanting to just really shake things up. There is a little bit of like an impulsive energy to this. And I will just say before moving forward that, be mindful of this, Aquarius, which, you guys are thinkers and you like to sort of map things out and have sort of a process and really weigh the pros and cons of the consequences of things typically. But I do feel a little bit of impulsivity here. So just be mindful of that. Don't do anything that's rash. Definitely think things through. It's not necessarily that you can't trust your gut and that, your intuition isn't accurate. You could make a decision that's a little bit more impulsive than you typically would do. and actually it might be okay. The reason I'm saying to mind the impulsivity is because for you to feel like a decision was the right one, you also need to feel like you looked at it from all angles and considered all the options and pondered it a little bit. So give yourself that time to do that, to actually give that sort of evaluation, because I feel like that's really important for you to feel personally like you can trust the decision. So let's go ahead and move into the current energy for both you and the other person. So coming out for you, Aquarius, we have the Princess of Wands, the Page of Wands in a typical deck. Coming out for the other person, we have the Two of Pentacles. Both of these cards came out upright. So Aquarius, I'm going to start with you here with this card. So again, this is just continuing forward to some of the energy that I already picked up. So this card is really about inspiration and looking at new ideas and discovering new ways of thinking about things and doing things. It's really a card that's full of potential. Now, page cards can represent sort of a message that's coming through a lot of times. I don't necessarily think that this is something that's coming in from like another person. I don't feel like that's sort of a vibe. I feel like this is really just you and your energy right now. Like you are actually representing the energy of the Princess or the Page of Wands. Again, it's just a continuation of what we were already picking up on earlier, so I'm not going to go too far in depth with that. I think this is just a confirmation for the people watching. If what I was saying earlier resonated with you, this is just saying like you should stick with this reading because this is absolutely, designed for you. Now for the other person, they have the Two of Pentacles, which is also coming out upright. I feel like for this person, they are really right now just trying to it's a similar energy to you, but from a different focus. So for them, instead of sort of looking at everything and just saying like, what do I want to keep? What do I want to throw away? They're looking at everything and saying, okay, how do I prioritize these things? What am I going to spend my time on? Who's going to get what amount of time and focus? And they're trying to just balance everything out and figure out how to make everything fit into their life in terms of priority based on what they really want. It's an interesting vibe. I feel like I'm just going to say this, we'll see sort of what comes out, but I do feel like this person, this card, at least energetically for me, it's interesting. It's giving off very much like an air sign sort of vibe. The approach that this person is taking in terms of how they are looking at things and prioritizing things, it's a very logical, very mental, not very emotional sort of approach, which is, it's interesting because I think that this is something about this person that you actually really like. I think that the two of you actually you think alike and you enjoy that about this person. So I'm going to go ahead and move into the underlying fears or issues. Split these over here. So Aquarius, coming out for you in terms of an underlying fear or issue, we have the Seven of Swords reversed. And I'm actually going to go ahead and talk about this card as well. We'll talk about these as a group. So for the other person, we have the Six of Wands coming out upright. Now keep in mind, these are in the fear or issue location. So Aquarius, it's interesting because I feel like for you, the biggest fear that you have right now is that I feel like you are almost in a mindset of feeling like you're having to put up like a front, and you're not internally really feeling like how you're presenting outwardly. So it's almost like to everyone that you're talking to, it's like, I'm good, I have things under control, I know what I'm doing. Like that's the sort of energy that you're putting out there. This is very much like, I got this. But internally, it's not like that at all for you, I feel. I feel like you're really in a place where it's almost like you are, it's not that you're lying to yourself, but it's like you aren't facing the reality of whatever the situation is. So you might not be looking at how intense something is that's happening here, or how little time you have to deal with something, or you might not be looking at the full thing in terms of exactly how severe or how behind on something you are. We'll see if this comes out a little bit more information as we go into the cards, but it feels very much like you have a fear that you're not seeing things the way that you need to see them, and you're not actually, the information that you have in order to evaluate and make the decisions, you have a fear that you don't have enough of it, or that people are going to see that you don't have things as under control as you want people to think that you do. For this other person, for their underlying fear or issue, they have the Six of Wands coming out upright. Now, this card itself is an amazing card. So for them to have a fear around this card means that they actually do have a fear of success. They have low self-confidence. They have a fear of their ability to achieve what they want and to make progress on it. So for this person, this is something that's interesting considering how they are looking at what I said earlier, sort of this really logical approach to making these decisions. This fear sitting on top of that, where they have self-doubt and they are potentially dealing with some, a lack of confidence and some low self-esteem, it could be potentially coloring how they are evaluating their abilities. So for example, they might feel like there's something that they really want to do, but they don't feel like they're able to do it or that they're capable of doing it. And that can cause a problem because it's something that they could actually achieve. So, Aquarius, I would say what I'm getting here just in terms of a message for you is that if this resonates with you and you know who this person is, just take a moment just to build them up a little bit. Tell them how confident you are in their abilities and how proud you are of them, of their accomplishments, and remind them of things that they've done in the past, things that they've actually been able to make happen in the past that will sort of help to soothe this fear that they have around their abilities. Because the truth of the matter is, when this card comes out, even if it is in a situation where it's a fear or an issue, because this card is so positive, it's just an indication to me that this person is actually capable. They just have a little bit of doubt. And I think just even the slightest bit of reassurance from you, because I feel like they do actually really respect and, value your opinion. I think even just the slightest bit of reassurance on your part to them will help them to sort of break out of that. Let's take a look at the obstacles going on for you guys. So Aquarius, for you, you have the Four of Swords coming out upright. The other person has the Five of Wands coming out upright. I'm going to start with you, Aquarius. So the Four of Swords, in terms of an obstacle, this is interesting because this is the exact opposite of sort of the vibe that I get from you, especially with the Chariot coming out twice during your pre-shuffle. The Four of Swords is really about taking a minute, just taking a rest, recuperating. It's a space where, it's not like, the hermit or, this situation where you've really like isolated and withdrawn from everyone. It's more of just like really taking time just to think about things and ponder things, which is sort of what I was picking up in terms of like, I do think that you are thinking about things, but this is a very laid back sort of energy. So it has shown up in your obstacle path. So Aquarius, what I would say here is that if you find yourself really having a lot of mental clarity and lots of ideas and lots of things that you need to do and coming up with lots of, plans and strategies, but you're not actually implementing any of them, you're not getting traction on them, you're getting in your way here. So it's fine to think about things and fine to contemplate and analyze things, but you also have to be able to put the action behind it. And so with this coming out as an obstacle, I would say for at least part of you who are listening to the video, be honest with yourself and take a look at how much time you're spending thinking about things and how much time you're actually spending getting things going and really implementing the things that you've thought about and taking action on them. Okay, for the other person, we have the Five of Wands coming out upright for their obstacles. So I feel like this person has a lot of conflict going on in their life. And I don't necessarily feel energetically that it's a lot of like fighting. I think more what I feel is sort of like it's almost like a competitive energy. So I'm feeling an energetic connection to this card with this card. I think part of the reason that this person is having a little bit of self-doubt is whatever's going on with them, whatever they're trying to balance, whatever they're trying to prioritize here. I feel like it could be that they have competition that is intimidating them, or they are doing a lot of comparing themselves to other people in a way that's making them feel a little bit inadequate and insecure. This is the obstacle that is blocking them from, you know, really being able to shift their energy and achieve what they want to achieve. So again, it's a confirmation for me that this person really does need you, Aquarius, to step in and sort of reassure them and sort of just boost them up a little bit and remind them that they're, you know, pretty amazing just on their own. I want to go ahead and move into the desired outcome for the two of you guys. So we have the Ten of Pentacles reversed as a desired outcome for you, Aquarius, and for the other person, we have the Queen of Cups reversed. So these are really interesting cards coming out in terms of your desired outcomes. So we'll start with you, Aquarius, with the Ten of Pentacles reversed. So, Aquarius, I just want to say here, it's fine to have goals and to strive to, you know, have achievements and to, you know, want to create a stable life for yourself and you know, even to have lofty goals, you know, to be able to buy a nice house or buy a new car, take, you know, even like extravagant, elaborate trips. But just be mindful that you're not in a space where you've become wealth obsessed, or that your life has become totally out of balance because you're killing yourself trying to make money so you can have things, and you're sort of sacrificing your connections with people and some of the things that are really important in life. You know, even in terms of like your health, you know, if you're working and you're not sleeping much and you're not eating well and you're not, you know, going to the gym, you're not taking care of your body, it's not worth it. You know, no matter how much money you're accumulating and how much you're managing to get, you're not really able to enjoy any of it because number one, you don't have the time to do it. Number two, whatever time you do have, you're probably like trying to balance in, you know, a little bit of sleep and rest with returning text, you know, from people who have wondered why you've fallen off the face of the earth. So I do feel like your current desired outcome is just to like get more, make more. And that's really not a healthy place to be, at least not long term. So just be mindful of that, Aquarius. I think that it's something for you to just take a look at. For some of you, that might not resonate, but for others, I do think that you're going to feel very much, if you look at it, that at least for the past couple of months, your life's been really out of balance. And again, it's like, I feel like, I think it was Virgo had a very, you know, similar vibe here where this person, I think, is someone who is actually really important to you. And I feel like you have sort of lost track of them in a way, and just reconnecting with them and checking in with them and seeing what's going on with them and being there for them is something that's really important. And I feel like that's one of the, you know, the bigger messages coming out for you is to, you know, it's sort of like that saying, like, stop and smell the roses. Just, you know, take a beat, take a day even, or even just an evening, just to, you know, be calm and, you know, connect with people, especially with this person. Make sure that you're adding that in and that you're not, your life is not just becoming like all work and just really rigid and really scheduled and planned out. Give yourself some time to have some, you know, spontaneous fun and to actually connect and do things that aren't necessarily, you know, this action, gotta go, gotta do sort of energy. Now, the other person's desired outcome, we have the Queen of Cups coming out reversed. Now, normally, in this place as a desired outcome, with, you know, especially with a card like the Queen of Cups being reversed, I would say that this person is wanting to avoid that energy. But actually, what I feel here is I feel like this person actually just wants to become much less emotional, much less easily influenced by, you know, their feelings about other people. They want to focus more on themselves and taking care of themselves and not being as dependent or connected to other people. They are wanting to sort of shut down some of the emotional aspects of their life so that they feel like they have a little space and room. I do feel, Aquarius, that in a way, this is sort of the vibe and energy that they are putting towards you. Yeah, it's almost like they're feeling like they need to or want to pull away a little bit. And I don't necessarily think that's what you want, but again, it stems from they feel like you've sort of done that to them, that you've sort of pulled away and that you've been focused on yourself. And so that they are sort of mirroring that same sort of vibe. Now, whether or not that's a good thing, that's really dependent upon the relationship. So what I would say here in terms of like, before, we'll look at the advice card, but what I will say before flipping that advice card over is that, if this is someone that you want to, maintain a close connection with, then this message is assigned to you saying that it's time to put in a little bit more effort, to check in with this person, devote a little bit of time to this person so that you can take this Queen of Cups, which, is currently reversed, and put that back upright so that their desired outcome is to really, have this emotional, caring connection with you that's very, stable and has a lot of love and compassion and caring in it. But if this person is someone, like I said earlier, where, you're looking at things and asking, do I still want to be in this relationship? Have I outgrown this person? Is this something that I want to take to the next level? Is this the type of relationship that I want to, commit to? Or is this something that I think has run its course and it's time to let this go? Then, this is sort of the progression of allowing that to happen. I would, just always say, like, I think it's really inconsiderate and rude when people ghost on each other. I think that if this is something that you want to end, you at least, need to sit down and have a conversation and give that person the respect that they deserve of being someone that's been in your life for, what feels like, at least, if not in your life for a significant amount of time, they are a significant person in your life. But, things do end and things do run their course, and some people only show up for, a moment for us. So, again, it's up to you, Aquarius. This could go either way. I am curious to see what the advice and guidance card is, so let's go ahead and take a look at that. Okay. So for advice and guidance, we have the Hermit coming out reversed. Now it is interesting here because, the Hermit is Virgo's card, and I do remember Virgo's reading had a very similar vibe. So Aquarius, for some of you, if you are dealing with a Virgo, you may well want to go and watch that Virgo video because it's not identical, but it's very similar in theme to what's going on with Virgo. And so I think it's interesting that card came out as advice guidance. So I just wanted to mention that in case some of you are dealing with the Virgo. So, I'm going to say this can go two ways because I really do feel like there are two groups of you that this reading might resonate with. So for group one, for advice guidance, this could very well be saying to you that it's time to really, withdraw and sort of isolate yourself and be alone and not necessarily be in this relationship. There are times when what you really need is to just be by yourself and to figure out how to be okay being by yourself and how to be stable by yourself and to tend to your own feelings and not necessarily have to worry or consider, another person's feelings or what they might want. Okay. So that's perfectly fine. There's nothing wrong with that. And I think a lot of times people do think that, choosing to be by yourself and choosing not to remain in a relationship just because you feel like you need to be able to spend time on yourself is a selfish thing. It's not a selfish thing. It's actually a healthy thing. So for part of you, I feel like that is what the advice is saying here. Now for another part of you, and again, I tend not to tell people what they should do. I just tend to, give some insight into what's going on here. So you will know internally what's best for you here. But for another group of you, I do feel like this advice card is coming out as the Hermit reversed to say to you, be mindful that you aren't withdrawing so much and isolating yourself so much that you're risking a connection that really matters. It could serve for some of you as a warning to course correct. And like I was saying earlier, to check in with this person and you know, reestablish some stability and some of the connection that is, you know, has been missing with this other person. So that's up to you to sort of check internally and get in touch with your feelings about what it is that you really want with this person and what would make you truly happy. So Aquarius, I'm going to end it there because I feel like you have a decision that you need to make, and it's important that you do this. I will say, I feel like it's important that you do this in a fairly decent amount of time. And again, that's really just because the Chariot card coming out twice during that pre-read, the pre-shuffle, it's just, there is an urgency that I feel energetically with this reading. I don't necessarily think, like this card especially, you know, remember like this came out as the obstacle. You don't really have the ability or the luxury to sort of kick back and ruminate on this and contemplate it for a very long time. And I think that's really because of this person's energy, where they're really, this Queen of Cups reversed, I feel like they're really at a space where like they're considering jumping ship if they don't see a shift in you. And so you need to figure out whether you're okay with them, with this ending and them leaving, or whether you really want to fight for it and keep them around. So Aquarius, I hope that you enjoyed this reading. If you did, please take a moment just to drop a comment. Let me know what resonated. Give the video a thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel. If you want YouTube to notify you when I put up new video content, make sure that you also click the bell notification next to the subscribe button. That allows them to let you know when new stuff goes up. And I really hope that you guys, you know what you want to do here and take action to accomplish it, whatever that is. And I'm curious to see what the July reading shows for you guys.